All right, good evening and welcome to the Fish Tank Barn. Hopefully that the audio is a little bit better this time. Um, Made some changes obviously after last week's debacle with the looping situation, so definitely want to apologize for that. Actually, there was kind of a good thing that came about as well. Good evening and welcome to the actually allowed me to hopefully that kind of realize that the mic that I was using for the live stream wasn't very good. Made some changes obviously after last week's debacle with the looping situation, so definitely want to apologize for that. Do I have to? Can I get an audio check real quick? Make sure I don't have anything anything going on with like two mics. I think I'm good. Got it right there. Okay, got it. I think I fixed it, so I think we're good. All right. Yep, I had two audios on, so I went ahead and fixed that real quick. That was easy. So I think we're good now. But like I said, the barn cam should be fixed. But now I think we fixed that problem. So like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but we'll go ahead and turn off the desktop audio. So yeah, that was I thought it was, but wanted to make sure. So, so yeah, so it was definitely it was a learning curve. The audio should be really good this time. I'm using the mic that I use on my camera, so it doesn't pick up any like buzzing or any background noise. So, should be sounding pretty good. So with that, let's kind of recap the talk first. We do have 14 people on right now, so thank you guys all for joining. So the talk was Thursday night. We actually had a pretty big snowstorm kind of Wednesday night into Thursday. So that kind of derailed things a little bit, but the talk did go very well. So I was really happy about that. It was probably the best talk best version of the talk that I've done so far. I've given it 3 times now. So hello, Alec. Hello, Steven. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, so it was a really good talk. Went very well. It went 55 minutes. And if you remember, I did record it, so it is on the channel. The lighting in the place where we have our meetings was not the best. So the visual of like me on the stage was not very good. But talk went well. I was mic'd up for that. I mic'd myself up for it, so the audio would be really good. So if you're a member of the channel, check out the talk. I thought it went really well. So, and I'm going to do a little plug here. If you want me to come speak at your club, I will be happy to do that. Just reach out to me and we can work that out. Speaking of that, I do want to gift. Oh, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Go ahead and gift 5 memberships to folks, so more people can see it. So I do want some people to see it. So so it looks like Skipper's got it, Renee DeQueer got it, B Wood, Garage Guilds, and Spinster Sister all got the memberships. So hello, Pebbling Creek, how are you? So so yeah, if you're interested in memberships, go ahead and check that out and see what check out the talk. And I will occasionally put other videos on as well. You may get first look at some new fish and things like that. So with that, let's go ahead and kind of dive into the auction now. So yep, so let's go ahead and dive in. And auction kind of had the same situation as the meeting, actually. So Peplin, thank you for the member chat. Got to start somewhere. Yep, definitely. You got to start kind of with anything, with YouTube, with giving talks, with everything else. You just kind of got to start. You got to start somewhere. So hello, J and N Aquatics. Hello. So yeah, so it's basically kind of same, like I said, for the auction, the same situation as as my talk. Snowy day again, which actually kind of limited the number of bags and number of buyers. Not too bad, but it did limit it, which I actually think is a good thing. I kind of fight with other members of our club about that. I think the fewer bags you have, within reason, obviously, the better the auction is. Um, I actually want to, like, right now the club actually allows you to bring 50 bags of fish. I actually think we should limit it to 30. Um, I've not won that fight, and it's one I've kind of given up on for now. But that's one that I think we should. I'm kind of a big fan of quality over quantity. I know, um, Lumpy Dog. I actually got to meet Lumpy Dog while I was there too. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track here a little bit, but I met Lumpy Dog in person there. He's been around for quite a long time, back on the original streams even, when my kids were little. So, so it's definitely, it was nice to meet him. But he could probably attest to this too. There was a ton of angelfish. Probably, it was probably the most angelfish we've ever had. Normally we get inundated with cichlids. I mean, it's usually, I describe our auction as death by African cichlid. So yeah, it's one of those. It's just, we usually get a ton of African cichlids, and thankfully this didn't happen, which I actually was kind of happy about. It gets, because I auctioned a little bit too, and it gets tiring to auction off the 900th bag of yellow labs, for example. So it's but this time it was kind of death by angelfish and kind of death a little bit by live bears too. So, but yeah, that was it went well. One thing I do want to say, I guess I want to kind of go into a little bit. I helped put a lot of the fish away, like in the bullpen as well. So I do want to talk a little bit about. I kind of get, I don't want to say triggered, but I do get. I don't know. I get annoyed, we'll call it, with certain things that I see people do when they bring their fish to the auction that would help them do better. There were a couple fish bags there this time, and there were the last time too, that people had brown water. And that, to me, is something that can be easily remedied, and you should do better. Basically, that's me being kind of nice about it. It's not very hard to bag your fish in clean water and not have brown water. It's just not, it's not good. So that's one of my things. And then I do want to be a little bit more graceful with the rest of this kind of little rant that I'm going to go on here. The other thing is kind of people just not knowing how to bag fish. And I know this is a learning curve, so I'm going to be a little more lenient than like brown water. So yeah, I'm going to be a little bit more lenient than with brown water. Brown water, I think, is like step one. Like, have clean water, put your stuff in clean water, and yeah. So Alishon says we hardly see any Rift Lake cichlids in auctions. Now it's guppies, angels, and ancestors. We did see a lot of plecos too. That was one too. There's quite a few guppies. Not overwhelming. There's some other rare live bears too, but we still did get quite a few. But it was not the overwhelming, like, oh my God, there's way too many of these things, and it's annoying. And it's like 4 tables full of African cichlids. Like that was so. Charles Vaughn said he missed the auction. It kind of clashed with his kids' cheer. Yep, I ran into that a lot with volleyball when my daughter was doing the volleyball. So I actually do a lot of work with the auction since I'm the vice president of the club. So I always felt bad kind of having to skip out and go do volleyball, but yeah, but kind of continuing back towards my little rant a little bit. People still need to do a little bit better, like bagging fish. Now we have a guy, his name's Mark, and he was doing a lot of teaching, which I thought was really good, because because there were still some that had too much water in the bag, and then I was guilty of this back in the day too, was having duckweed in your bag. People aren't going to want to buy it if there's a bunch of duckweed in it. So I mean, some of the bagging fish stuff is a learning curve. Actually, it's kind of given me an idea to make a video on how I bag fish. I know that some other folks may do it differently, especially when it comes to tying versus rubber bands. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to probably do that video here, and probably coming out in April. Just do a quick quick little tutorial video how to bag fish. With that, I do want to kind of step into a different part now. When I do this, I don't have enough screens to see the chat, so I won't be able to exactly see your chat for a few moments as I go through this part. But let's go ahead and I'm going to do the screen share, and I'm going to actually show you what I sold. I put it in a spreadsheet. I'm sorry for putting a spreadsheet on YouTube, but this is kind of, I think, the best way to present this is to kind of show you what I sold, and kind of show you what I got for it too. So kind of give you the buying side, which we'll show out in the barn here in a little bit, and then I'll kind of show you what I sold in here, so you can kind of see what I sold. So let's go ahead. I'm going to flip the screen over to you guys now, and we'll take a look kind of at what I sold. So, all right. Here, all right. See what. So we're back on this part now. What I sold. So I have this sheet up here. Screen over to you guys now. So kind of going from the top. We'll take a look. Kind of what so I sold guppy grass. Guppy grass. I did. So what we do is we have something called the buy it now table. So anything that's a plant actually goes on a plant or like a snail will go on the buy it now table along with like dry goods like tanks, filters, etc. So that just so it doesn't clog up the auction with those things. So you basically put it on the buy it now table. You have to put a price on it, and then as the auction goes on, if it doesn't sell, the price will get reduced like 20% until the end of the sale. Will go on the buy it now table along with. So first, and you're only allowed 5 bags per species. That just so it doesn't. So I did 5 bags of guppy grass. I priced them at $10 for the buy it now table. Club takes 30%, so I end up making $7 for per bag for my 5 bags of guppy grass. Did the Valsnaria as well. You're only allowed 5 bags, so just the Valsnaria you see after the single tanks, harvesting some of that. Kind of did those in kind of like a 6 by 18 bag. Pretty nice amount of plants per bag. Kind of see, like I did good on some of them, and then kind of petered out. With a lot of these kind of plants too, though, there is a lot of competition in terms of people bringing in the same thing. So yeah, so we've got there's 2 that one that kind of went into the second round, and then one that kind of got bought at the end. With a lot of these not too bad. Java Moss did kind of okay. One was for $10, the other ones were for 6, and then 8. So I did all the plants for $10 a piece. So the price that I put on them was just $10 all the way around. So Java Moss kind of did okay, not too bad. Pogostem and Guy, so I just went into my Liberty Molly tank, kind of harvested all the stems of the Pogostem and Guy. Said it was sprouting, and then I put that in the bag. The price that I put on them. Going into the fish wise here, this is the marble sword hull, so the marble sword tank usually has a guy here. That tank actually has that tank. I pulled out all the just basically all orange ones. There's a bag of 6 of those. Bag those up. This is getting the $26 for those. Pretty good deal. So I was pretty happy with that. One thing that did really well at our auction as well were the cherry shrimp. So the cherry shrimp, the first 3 bags. One thing I do want to mention in this is you get to prioritize if you're a member of the club. They give you like a green sticker, so you can prioritize 10 bags. Pretty good deal. Of fish that you want to go in the beginning of the auction. One thing that did really well, you did well. I did prioritize. I think 3 bags of the shrimp, and you can see those all did pretty well. And then I think these other 2 bags went kind of later on. And they give you like a green sticker. Again, I was not the only person there with cherry shrimp. So I went for 11 and $10, which still isn't bad. I mean, I don't have really high grade cherry shrimp. I did prioritize. I don't do a lot of culling or anything like that. They just kind of live organically in quite a few of the tanks here on the farm. I'll harvest those. Again, I was not the only person. So, unfortunately, I did have a DOA. The Lamprologus and Primus. I don't know exactly what happened with that fish, but when I was alive when I bagged it, when I got to the auction, unfortunately, he was no longer with us. Kind of bummed me out. I had that fish since he was like this big. Fortunately, I did have a DOA. Fortunately, did make it. So I don't know exactly. Up next is the Lamprologus Simless. What I do with the Simless actually is I'll bag up a colony of those. And usually before the auction, I'll buy a bag of escargot shells, and I'll put like 6 escargot shells into a bag, and bag that along with the Simless, so you kind of have the shells to start with, and then sell the fish that way. That did really well. That got about $44. And I'll usually take cut again $30 for the bag of. So again, that was one that I think did really well. So I've done that for a few auctions now. This time did really well. Before that, didn't really sell the fish that way. Did maybe like in the $20 range before. A couple groups of Limia Islay. One was $20, another one $16, which is based on past experience. That was pretty good. A lot of times I'll get $10 for those. Those end up being kind of $10. Xenotoka Dodroy, did 4 bags of those, kind of like the $4 range. There was another person selling those there as well, so kind of expected, and I don't think I prioritized them. A lot of times I'll get $10. Didn't do that great, but that's okay. It's good to get good ads out to some other people in the hobby, so that made me happy. 4 bags of those. And then Antonovia's Tower, I did well. $17 for 11, which for the G'day was pretty good. And then last but not least, I did have a kind of a group of muck guppies. We didn't really see a lot on the channel, but I did put those in a bag. Pretty decent sized bag, probably. 4 bags of those. And Antonovia's Tower, I did well. Maybe like 10 fish or so. But those went for $22. So sold a total of $403. Club takes the cut, got $283 back. Not too bad. So yeah, definitely. I thought I was pretty happy with that, especially with kind of the lower numbers, buyers. So yeah, definitely a good auction. So pretty happy with how I did. I actually sold more than I spent, so I think I spent about $100 or so. Not too bad. With all the fish I got, which we'll look at here in a little bit. So yeah, I think that turned out well. So I'll flip it back over to the main screen now, and I'll put chat back up. I actually sold more than I spent. All the fish I got. Yep, there you go. Thank you, Empire of Dirt, for the super chat. Got it fixed. Like when I flipped the screen back on, it put the desktop audio back on. So thank you. Oh, did we have echo when I did that? Oh. Oh, did we? No. See, that's the problem. I couldn't see chat because I had it on the other screen, so I wanted to get the controls up. Shoot. All right, we'll have to work through that one then. Crap. I'm gonna put the screen sharing back on. Oh, there was another. Hold on. Do you guys want me to put it back on, and we can go through all that again? It's gonna show the chat. Oh, there was on the bottom. It's my bad. All right. Do you want me to go back through that again? I can pull that up real quick, and do that again. So, do you guys want me to go through the numbers again, or are you guys good? Let me know in the chat real quick. Yeah. All right, let's go back through it. Let me pop it back up real quick. All right, so we're back up, and I think you guys should be good without the looping now. That was my fault. There was it was in the bottom, so I gotta somehow dummy proof this so I turn off all the audio pieces. So that was on me. So all right, starting back again, guppy grass. We did for so going back to explain this again. Guppy grass. There was $10. So basically, what we do in our club is we have something called the Buy It Now table. So we don't take a bunch of plants and everything through the auction. So the Buy It Now table is basically kind of like a swap where you have to put your price on the table on your bag. So it's basically anything that's a plant, snail, dry goods like your tanks, filters, and things all have to go on the Buy It Now table and have to have a price on it. It just kind of keeps the auction running more smoothly. Takes a lot of things out of the auction, and actually works quite well if you're wanting to get a certain price for something too. So if you have an ultra rare fish that you want $50 for, put it on the Buy It Now table. And then how it works actually is you go ahead and you get as the day goes on, the price will go down. So if your item doesn't sell, you'll actually get it'll go down by like 20%. So like for the first like few hours, it'll stay at what your price is, and then it will go down from there. So, yeah. So the guppy grass. So I put $10 on all the plants. So which is items number 1 through 16. I just put $10 for all the different bags. The guppy grass that you see here was all $10. So everything here was $10. So it's going, so all those sold for $10. The club takes 30%. So got $7 a piece for those. Vallisneria did kind of okay. You can see the 3 down here that are for $10, and then one went a little bit later for $8, and then one kind of went at the end for $2. So these are plants that eventually I would have just gotten rid of anyway. So I'm kind of okay with make a little bit of money. So it's kind of a good kind of like breeding for profit in terms of like plants. I actually generally do pretty well with the plants, just putting them on the Buy It Now table. So that's been kind of a staple for me here for the last probably 5-6 auctions. Java moss did okay. I got $10 for the first bag. One went a little bit later for $6, and then the other ones went for $8. So not too bad. The Pogastem and Guy. So I just went into my Liberty Molly tank where this plant lives. It's kind of invasive, so I just kind of ripped it out, and then I put stems on the bag, cuttings on the bag, so that people knew what the bags were. So that was kind of all for the plants. Did pretty well though. Plants are kind of easy to bag too, so they're a lot easier than fish. Next thing here is we do have the marble sword calls. So basically I went into my marble sword tank, and I'll kind of show you that tank real quick as we're kind of going through the barn. But yeah, so the marble sword calls, picked out all the orange swords, or the majority of them. I think I had about 6. Put those in a bag, labeled them as orange sword with marble sword gene, and those went for $26. So that's a pretty good price for those. One thing that did very well, not only for me but throughout the auction, was the cherry shrimp. Cherry shrimp went for, you can see here, went from $22, $23, and then another $22 bag, and then kind of towards the end, couple of these went towards the end, and they went for 11 and 10. And then one thing we get to do in our auction is if you're a member of the club, you get 10 labels that you can put and kind of prioritize your bags to go first in the auction. So you can pick 10 bags to go first. So the first 3 bags of cherry shrimp, I did prioritize those, and then the other ones kind of went towards the end. So there's a kind of a game of what goes first or second with that. So there's a way to, if you want something to go first, you kind of have to be strategic in how you tag your bags. They used to do it with a color. There would be 3 different colors, and they'd kind of draw which color went first. So it was kind of a crapshoot, but I like this method better. So we kind of made some adjustments after one of our auctions, and this was actually a really good change. Unfortunately, I did have one DOA that I'm kind of unfortunate. I really am upset about that, actually. Kind of take a lot of, I just ranted about how people bag their fish poorly, et cetera, et cetera. And then I have a DOA, which I was not really happy about. So it happens. I felt like I did everything right. I fasted the fish, used clean water, and for whatever reason that fish didn't make it, which is something I'm kind of upset about. One, that fish would generally sell for quite a bit of money at our auctions. Compressed seps generally do pretty well. And also, I'd had that fish since he was about this big, and I grew him up, and he was probably about like this. So I was, I don't like losing fish, So, all right. So next thing we've got is the Neolamprologus similis. Those did really well, and I have a particular way I do these. I'll usually get them out of the shell, at least one group. So I think this group had 5 fish in it. And then I'll also go on Amazon and I'll buy the escargot shells, and I'll package, basically the same number of shells that the fish had, and I'll put that into a bag and sell that as a package. Generally, I've gotten into the $20 range, but this time it did really well. Got it $44 for it, so definitely did pretty well. Next up was the Limia islay, which did pretty well as well. This is normally kind of a $10 bag for me, and these did 20 and 16, so definitely did pretty well. Next up, Xenotoka dodroi. There was quite a few of these bags in the auction. Another gentleman there had some of these as well. So yeah. So these, and there's not a huge population for these. So yeah. So that one did pretty well. It's always good to get good ads out in the hobby. So not too bad there. Antinobius toweri did pretty well. I got 17 for one bag, 11 for the other. I think I did prioritize one of those as well. I think the next time I do this, I'll actually mark which bags I did the priority on to see kind of what effect that had. And the last group is kind of a muck guppy group that you guys really haven't seen a lot on the channel. Put those in the auction, kind of wanted to get rid of them, and sold those for 22. So did pretty well. So definitely pretty happy with that. So sorry for the looping there. So I'll remember to look at the bottom, and I'll have to kind of dummy proof my setup here to get rid of all the other extra audio things on here. So anyways, let's pop back to the main screen, and I'll go ahead and go through chat here real quick and see what your questions are. So all right, let me see. All right. So, yep. So, all right. So, let me see. Alan B. Any relation to Nancy B? Don't know. Let me see. Go ahead here. It's Empire of Dirt. Jeff Kane said it was been a while since he's played with Excel. Yes, it has been. Like I said, Excel is not very good YouTube, but I figured that would be the best way to show this. So yeah. So. Yeah. So again, I do apologize for the audio. That was a very JV mistake. So we'll fix that in the future. I'll have to dummy proof this so that because basically there was another audio hiding in the bottom, and I didn't see it, so I thought didn't have audio on. So yeah, that was on me. Yeah, so all right. So I think it's time to head out to the barn. So I'm gonna flip it to the barn cam. Give me about 2 minutes. So Stephen P said, some of us love live spreadsheeting. I actually like spreadsheets, but I'm an ex-finance guy who ended up working in purchasing, or purchasing program management at least. So I'm all good with spreadsheets. It actually helps me quite a bit with what I do for work. So it makes me very efficient. Doug Earl said, "Do you know where I can buy live bears in the UK?" I don't know of a particular store, but I know that there is a British Live Bear Association, and you might want to check that out. Maybe they have a list of stores. That would be my best. That would be kind of my best bet for that. You could also go on like the G'day Working Group website, and I know there's quite a few folks from Europe on that, or on the Facebook page, excuse me. And I know there's quite a few folks from Europe on that group, and they should be able to help you with that as well. I think that would be the two best places to look. Without, I'm in Detroit, Michigan, so I don't have a lot of experience with the UK. I did live there actually when I was out of college, which was 1998. So I'm going to date myself a little bit, but I really wasn't thinking about fish back then when I was living there. So, so unfortunately, I can't give you much more than that. The only thing I will say about as a kind of Saturday mornings here, I do enjoy watching a little Premier League football still. I kind of got into that after living in there and kind of watching the World Cup with teams that were good, which the U.S. wasn't at the time. They're a lot better now, but so got into watching a little bit of the Premiership, and still watch that. Still kind of watch that to this day. I'll pop it on, Saturday morning, eating my bagel and coffee, and I'll watch whatever game's on, like Peacock, or I think it's like USA Network has the other one. So do enjoy a little bit of soccer for those in the United States, but little, and that's actually my time in the UK. Oh, yeah, Lumpy Dog. I did all kinds of stuff. I did hockey. We'll go off at a tangent for a minute before we go out to the barn. So I did hockey. I did. Liverpool's kind of killing it. I'm kind of curious to see if Man City gets relegated from all the financial stuff. Like, I heard about that, and then I haven't really followed it up that much. But Liverpool's killing it. I actually lived in Chelsea. I lived in something that was called a council estate. So somehow we ended up renting in this council estate, which I don't know if we should have been in there or not. That's a story I don't even know all the details of. So we ended up living in Chelsea, which is a very posh area of London, and that is actually how my daughter got her name. So my wife we all kind of came up on the name Chelsea. I lived in Chelsea, and that's kind of how my oldest daughter got her name, was by my time in the UK. But I actually did play a lot of soccer too. So I did the hockey in college, and then a little bit after, and then as I was in college, I actually kind of naturally figured out that I was a pretty decent goalkeeper playing soccer. So I played a lot of soccer. I ended up playing a lot with my he's like my first cousin, like once removed or something like that. Like, he's like his grandmother and my grandfather were brother and sister. So however that works out, I think it's like first cousin once removed or something. But so I just call him my cousin Jared. So I played soccer for a lot of years, actually. I played soccer longer than I did hockey. So I actually kind of started Um, um, yeah, so it kind of started with that kind of like in the college, and like I said, I saved. I kind of realized I was decent at it when I saved in a ball in like IM from like one of the Michigan club players. I'm like, hey, I'm kind of decent at this. So just played like rec league stuff. After that, I played till I was like in my mid 30s. So like 35, 36, I think, is when I kind of started running. Actually, I actually ran a few half marathons in my 30s, and then I got old and fat, and then it all fell apart. But yeah, so there was a lot of soccer. I did some running. I probably should have never stopped running, and that kind of put me on the off the wagon per se. Yeah, did that. Played golf in high school, and I played tennis for a couple years too. So I've done quite a few sports, and I kind of did golf until the kids were born, and then decided to pick that up again last summer. Um, so all right, so we've got Alshon's followed Chelsea when Pulisic was there. I actually went to a Chelsea game when I was there, which is a very interesting experience. Um, it's so the fans are very different. I actually kind of still secretly support a club called Charlton, which is they're absolute crap. Now they were in the Premiership when I lived in England, but they're absolutely. Um, I think they're like um, League One, I think. So there's like, yeah. So Lumpy Dog heard that runners are weird. Yeah, I did decent for a while, but then I just don't think I'm made to do it. I ran the Lumpy Dog. I ran the free press half marathon. My best time was 2 hours and 30 minutes, which for me is pretty darn good. I think you probably would do a little bit better than that. But let me see. Um, yep, Beckham Charlton from London. Yeah, they're not good anymore. They were good for a while, but they kind of fell off the wagon, I think. And a lot of that comes down to money, and it's like like Man City, who everyone kind of loves, was when I was there was kind of um, was kind of they weren't very good, and then obviously they got like Saudi investment, and then they bought all the best players and got pretty good. So yeah, so kind of, and then the Wrexham thing, yeah, that's that's money, right? It's like you get someone to invest a lot of money in your team, and you all of a sudden started winning. Lumpy Dog said through the tunnel or the bridge. The one I did actually did both. So you went out over the bridge, and then came back through the tunnel. Um, so the one that I did is you went over the bridge, and then you went through Windsor, Ontario, and then you went back and then out through the tunnel, and then you kind of finished back in Detroit. So um, my problem with half marathons is that I fell apart. I was very good up until 10 miles, and the last 3 miles I just fell apart. I don't think I ever finished one actually still running. I always got cramps and kind of always fell apart, and just kind of turned into the last 3 miles was kind of a crap show for me. But I think with that, I think we do need to kind of head out to the barn, and I'll show you like the new fish. Can I talk about the things from last week where that we had like the buffering and the looping and all that stuff. So let me pull the barn cam up. I'll meet you back out in the barn in a couple seconds, and then we'll kind of dive in from there. So, all right, here we go to the barn. right, we're back. So let me know real quick how the audio is doing. But I think we should be pretty good. So I think I tested this and we should be fixing it. So Mickham says, is that Limia Perugia, right? Yep, that is Limia Perugia. And then the other fish in there are the Praecox rainbows. So, all right, cool. So Eric Whiterock's here. Hey, Eric, how are you? Audio vid is good, so cool. The fish that are Skull says those are not Limia. The non-rainbow fish ones are. So I'll go ahead and I'll point at it real quick. So so let's go ahead here real quick and let me pull the phone off the tripod here, and we'll go ahead and kind of look at what I bought because I picked up some interesting things. All right, let's go ahead and so I did buy some more of the. That's kind of why I started with this tank because I bought some more of the Praecox. So like this little guy right here. So all the little ones in here are kind of the new ones. I think there's another guy down here. So yeah, so another new one there. Let me whip around here real quick. So I'm gonna try not to make you guys dizzy. This one was the steal of the auction, in my opinion. Ended up with 4 of these guys, but we have the Chilothrena blaheri. Yes, these are pretty nice sized fish actually, and I was able to get these for $7 for a bag of 4 of them. So, we've got. Hold on. Anyone else? Let me refresh this. All right, that must have been me. All right. All right, sorry about that. I saw my screen going kind of crazy, so like frozen. So I hope that you guys are still here. But yeah, so we had the Chilothrena blaheri. Really. Oh, what happened? Oh crap! What the hell? All right, there we go. Wow. Okay, so I think we're good. I think. I don't know why that happened, but like my screen froze, so maybe it was just my internet or whatever. But so we have these Chilothrena blaheri. These went, like I said, got them for $7. Sorry to repeat that, but I was afraid you guys might have been frozen. But really pretty fish. So hopefully these will get. Just hope these guys grow up and they get some more of their color on them, and I may move them out of this 20-gallon tank eventually, but we'll see. So yeah, so got those. Didn't buy a whole lot of new fish. Hello, Sleeper Barbecue. Moving onwards. And I'll show you what I got from the swap 2 weeks before that too, because I think they got caught up in the looping incident from last time. But these right here, that just kind of came and went. These are the Pasilia catamaconis. These are actually kind of a newly described molly species that they found out of Mexico. So they're a little skittish, but you can see that guy there. And then do have actually one kind of cool fry update too, from this tank of the Crocodile Audax from Los Pinos. They were probably not going to come. There's one of them. Let's see one of the fry. I think it's right up there. There he is, right there. There's one of the fry. But there's actually I found 3 fry in here. Um, so yeah, pretty excited about that. Actually, this is a pretty rare fish and one that there's one of the other ones right down there. There he's right there. There's another one. So pretty cool. And since we're here, we did actually have a loss, and I don't know what happened, but I lost the other Xenotania resolani, so I only have one in here. And I think what happens a lot of times in the barn is things die, and then the snails will get them. You know, if you look at this tank, you can see like all the snails here on the bottom. So I think they come up out of the abyss, and I think when things expire per se, they eat them, and then you kind of don't have anything left. So in this tank here, we did it at the auction. We did get these not the Corys, but the mollies. So these are Yucatan sailfin mollies. These are from like the Great Sage line. Pretty cool little fish. Want to get these going. I had these before. Didn't do too well for me last time, but I've been doing pretty good with mollies lately. So I really wanted to try these again and see if I could get them going. I'm having them in here with these painted swordtails. Kind of that I've kind of done okay. Nothing's really bred yet in here, but we'll see how that goes. I do want to show you this plant too. I didn't find this tiger lotus at the buy it now table, and I was really happy to have that. So really nice bright red leaves on it. So hopefully it will, not die back at all, and kind of go from there. So, all right, moving onwards to other new fish. Oh, so this is one of the other ones from last week that I wanted to talk about. But these are the Brachyraphis roswithae. Kind of a cool little, unique little live bear. Kind of a nice little red sheen to it. Real pretty fish. Let that come back in the frame here. I'm gonna have to add some more plants to this tank because these are notorious fry eaters. They're the same. They're the same kind of as these guys up here. These are the Brachyraphis roswithae. Very similar fish to these. I wish this would go a little bit wider, but so there's that. I got that at the Swamis swap a couple weeks ago. I meant to show you that last week, but with all the looping, I'm sure you guys didn't catch all that. What other fish we want to see up here? All right, so we'll head on down. All right, so the other fish I did pick up, they're going to go under the tape, but I did pick up some Jardus metallicus, metallic live bears. So definitely pretty excited to see those. There's one of the males there. These appear to be the yellow form. I like the black form a little bit better, but that's kind of a personal preference thing. And then they're in here with these like high fin platies. So, and one single Corridor's concolor, which so hopefully someday I'll find some more for those. But one thing I'm really happy about, this tank isn't looking the greatest right now. I'll have to go back through probably this weekend and scrape glass. But these guys have been out a lot more. These Xenotoca melanosoma. These have been very reclusive since I've had them. But since I moved them in this tank, raised the temperature a little bit in here, and these guys have been out and about. So it's something I've been pretty happy about. I know this tank, the glass right now is not the best. Want to show you a fish too that I picked up at Swap, and a really pretty swordtail. Actually, this is the Xiphophorus helleri guntheri from the Golden Stream in Belize, and you can see the absolutely large, enormous sword on that male. Absolutely stunning. And then there's the female right there. So, really pretty fish. Where do we want to go next? We'll do some other updates real quick. I know Lumpy Dog bought some of these. So these are the Antinobes toweri. These are from the Al Aljui Spring. I keep these with a lot of hornwort on the top. I know when it got a little bit colder in here, the hornwort sort of died back a little bit. But now it's really started to take off again to kind of resolve the cooler water issue in the barn. Let's see what else we're going to talk about. Other updates I've got. These trout goodies have done pretty well. They think I'm going to feed them, so they're all kind of crowding towards the top. Kind of one thing interesting is I wanted to float, like we'll go ahead and put the camera up over here, and I wanted to float all of the Java fern on the top. That's how the gentleman where I got a lot of these fish from had it. And they were there since like the 1990s. These have been kind of floating in his tank. And some of them now have like sank. They're kind of weird. They're just on their own. They kind of just sank to the bottom, and they've kind of just placed themselves down here. So I'm going to leave them and kind of just let nature do its thing. But yeah, kind of an interesting deal. I did pick up some more of these multis as well. So some of these multi shell dwellers. Figured can't have enough of those. So they were pretty reasonable. So I just decided to add to the colony and kind of make it like the Simless colony that I have over in the other part of the room. I also want to kind of give you an update on these guys, these rainbow cichlids. They were looking a little rough once I got them. And it was partially my fault. This tank, actually, the heater died and it got really cold. And these guys were really looking kind of bad. So these guys have come back pretty well. I've treated them with the Med Trio. One of the fish still has a little bit of something on his mouth, a couple of them. So I might hit him again, maybe with like some Maricin, maybe a little bit of Icax. But like they were so bad, I didn't want to show them to you. But they've cleaned up pretty nicely. So I might hit them with another round. But these guys are doing a lot better. So, and since he's out, he's not out a lot. I'll show you the L204 flash collector as well. He's out and about. See him right there. And then so I think that's kind of the update from the fish barn right now. Really, from a kind of selling perspective, I took a lot of the guppy grass out of this tank right here. That's home to the Xenotuca Eisenai. These are from, I'm going to say Rio Compostela, I believe. So this tank was all full of, it's full of the guppy grass, and now it's pretty wide open. Kind of happy with that, about that actually. Though the guppy grass does help breed a lot of fish. This is where this is looking a little murky right now. They've been kind of digging around in here, but I got a lot of the Vallisneria out of this tank. It was all growing up towards the front. And then one other cool thing I kind of want to show you too is these Tropheus right here. You see the babies are starting to come out. So they've been living around here in the crypts, but they've kind of grown up now, and they're kind of making themselves known a little bit more. So pretty happy about that. Want to keep this colony going. So So I think that's kind of the update for the basement part. So I'm gonna head back upstairs real quick, kind of check on the time, and then we'll probably head back in and answer some questions. All right, so all right, let me put you guys back on the tripod. I think probably the best bet. Put you guys back on the on that. All right, let me go through the comments here, and then we'll head inside and kind of wrap it up here. Skull says he likes the. All right, so Mickey, what wild swordtail was that? Wild form swordtail was that with the orange fins? Oh, I was going to show you those. I forgot. I think the wild form was the Guntherite, I believe. I don't have too many wild forms in here right now, unfortunately. Skull likes the yellow bellied ones. Yeah, it's kind of a personal preference thing between the yellow and the black. Alashon says that you sometimes see Hellerized sold as Monozume. Yeah, for sure. I think I can see that. Bickham says that Mike has more wild live bears than the entire Central America. No, there's plenty more. There's tons of them. So watch where I'm putting the tripod. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'll have to be careful with the tripod. Yeah, it's kind of. I got to find a better way to do a couple things in here, and then the Tropheus are actually Tropheus Maplungu. The Tropheus Mori Maplungu. I'll put that in the chat real quick. Yes. So I was. Yeah, I was kind of lost for a second of where to put the camera. So. Yep. So let's go ahead. Let me head inside, and we'll kind of wrap it up from there. So I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. So for whatever reason, that's really weird. All right, so we lost the camera for some reason. But I don't know why the camera's not showing up now. That's really strange. So why is it not? Lose the camera link? That's weird. Okay, so we lost the camera, but I think we're gonna go ahead and call it here. So so yeah, so thank you guys for coming along. For whatever reason, the camera is gone. I don't know why I'm not showing up. That's really weird. So I think at this point, I think we're just gonna go ahead and call it. 9:03 anyway. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week, and we'll continue to get better with all the technical issues and everything. So once again, I appreciate you guys' time, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday, 8 o'clock.